my channel IIT Olympiads and AP Physics with Ambarish, and today solving INPHO 2019 problem series. So today I'm going to present the problem 7, and before I solve the problem I want to tell you that you're going to feel motivated after looking at the solution, because sometimes students feel that INPHO is very tough and it's very difficult to solve INPHO problems, but it's not like that. Actually, in fact, many of the INPHO problems are like almost like JEE advanced problems, and you just need to do the maths thoroughly and without making mistakes solve the differential equation. You'll get the answer just like that. So this particular problem, you'll see that this is a very easy problem and you'll like it. Okay, so let's look at the problem. As shown, a magnet of mass m is equal to 19 grams slides on a rough non-magnetic metallic inclined plane which makes an angle, it should be theta, with horizontal. One can change the angle of inclination of the plane. Due to relative motion between the magnet and the plane, the eddy currents are generated inside the metal which retard the motion of the magnet. Okay, assume that the magnitude of the resistive force on the magnet is b times velocity, where b is a positive constant, v is the instantaneous speed of the magnet. Let mu be the coefficient of kinetic friction between the magnet and the plane. So this is the physical situation, and the question will be coming on the next slide. So the magnet is sliding, and this inclination angle of the plane is given as theta, and there are what forces are acting on it. It is a resistive force because of its velocity. So the eddy currents are generated, and you know that because of electromagnetic induction effects, this is going to experience a backward force. So you can say by Lenz's law. Okay, so this is a resistive force due to the proportional to the velocity, as well as there's a coefficient of kinetic friction. All right. And what is asked, let's see. So the first part of the question is, if the magnet starts moving from rest at time t equal to 0, obtain the expression for its terminal velocity vt. Also obtain the displacement st along the inclined plane as a function of time. Take s0 equal to 0. And you can see this is a very easy problem, a standard problem that almost standard problem that you see in viscosity. So what do you do for finding terminal velocity? You equate the viscous drag force to the other force acting on the particle, and then you are able to solve for terminal velocity immediately. So we are going to do the same thing here. So one thing we want to find out is terminal velocity, and the other thing is the displacement along the inclined plane. Okay, so let's see. If you want, you can try it yourself for maybe 2 to 3 minutes, and then you can look at the solution, because it's not a very difficult problem and I'm sure you will be able to get it. The maybe 2 to 3 minutes is short. Maybe you can take 10 minutes, because you'll have to do the integration for the displacement part and getting the velocity as a function of time. Alright, so let's see the solution now. So terminal velocity occurs when the dry frictional force and the velocity dependent resistance along the incline is balanced by the gravitational force. So what do we mean by that? So there's an mg sin theta acting like this, and there's an mgv acting opposite, proportional to the velocity, and there's a mu mg cos theta that's acting like this. Okay, so so the sum of all the three forces is going to be 0 at the time of terminal velocity. All the forces are going to be in balance. So that's what I've written. Mg sin theta downward should be equal to mu mg cos theta plus b times terminal velocity. All right, so this straight away gives you the terminal velocity as vt is mg sin theta minus mu cos theta upon b. So this is the terminal velocity. All right, so that's the first part of the A part. Okay, and we are also supposed to find s as a function of time. So what we can do, now we can write this equation at a general time when the velocity is less than the terminal velocity, so some velocity, so that we can get the differential equation in velocity. So what we can write is that m times dv by dt, that's the mass times acceleration of this magnet, is equal to minus bv, that is the force up the plane. So I'm taking downward as positive, so minus bv minus mu mg cos theta and plus mg sin theta. So this is a simple differential equation, first order. Separate the variables and conquer. Okay, so just separate the variables, and you will get the velocity as a function of time. So t equal to 0, velocity is 0, and at t is equal to t, velocity is v, and we just separated the variables. And if you integrate this, you get velocity as v is equal to mg by b sin theta minus mu cos theta into 1 minus e to the minus bt by m. And if you observe this term, mg by b sin theta minus mu cos theta is the same term that we got in the terminal velocity also. So we can simply write this as terminal velocity into 1 minus e to the power minus bt by m. So this is the velocity as a function of time. Now how to find the displacement? So velocity is simply written as ds by dt, and you just then again separate the variables and again integrate, and you get s as a function of time. St is equal to vt into this term that you get. All right, so that's your velocity, that's your displacement as a function of time. So that's what we were supposed to find in the second part. Okay, so this is part A. Now what else is asked? Let's see. So the next part of the question, part B, is for a fixed theta, student records the values of s for all values of t as shown in the table. Okay, so against different values of t, the student has charting the values of s in meters. Okay. So draw a suitable graph and obtain the terminal velocity Vt of the magnet from this graph. So we are supposed to find the terminal velocity by drawing a s versus t graph. Okay, 3 graph papers are provided with the booklet, no extra graph papers will be provided. Okay, so now you are straight away given t versus s. So what happens after a very long time? You know that ds by dt should become constant, because when the terminal velocity is achieved, the further change in velocity will get to there will be no change in velocity, or we can say that slope of the st graph will be constant. So we can just plot t versus s graph that, and towards the end it will become like a straight line, and we can from that we can get the value of ds by dt or terminal velocity. So that's what we have done. Let's look at the solution. So if you plot the s versus t, you get this type of a graph based on the given data, and then you try to fit a straight line and you give more weightage to the end points. Okay, so you can see that I have drawn a straight line from the last, second last and third last points, and I'm not worried that this line is leaving this point or it's going far away from these points, because this is the stage when the velocity is not stabilized, and after that the nearer you are towards the time, I mean higher time, more you will be closer to you will get the accurate slope. Okay, for the terminal velocity. All right, so if you just take the slope of this graph, the terminal velocity comes out to be 0.315 meter per second. All right, so that was our part B. So fairly simple, very easy question. And then let's look at the next part. So part C is the above process is repeated for various values of theta. The obtained values terminal velocity for different theta, it should be, are given in the table. Somehow thetas are not printed in this, so just I'm saying this so different, and there's supposed to be a theta over here. So obtained values terminal velocity for the different theta are given in the table. Plot a suitable graph and obtain the values of b and mu from this graph. So theta versus terminal velocity is available. Okay, and we are supposed to find out what we want to find out, the value of b and mu. So we'll have to come out with a suitable function for plotting, preferably straight line. So that's a standard theme in INPHO. You are supposed to come up some relationship such that the graph that you have to plot is a linear graph, because linear graphs are easy to plot and you can infer accurate information from linear graphs. So that's why, because you have to do all the calculations by hand only. So preferably we should be drawing a linear graph to obtain the value of b and mu. So we need to manipulate the expressions a little bit. So for solving this one, if you just manipulate the terminal velocity expression, the one that we got for part A, we got the terminal velocity expression in part A in terms of all the other things. So if you just rearrange that expression, you can write Vt upon cos theta is equal to mg by b tan theta minus mu mg by b. Now if you look at this relationship, so Vt upon cos theta, if you take as y and you take tan theta as x, so this becomes like y is equal to mx plus c kind of a relationship, right? So Vt upon cos theta versus tan theta graph is going to be a straight line. Okay, that's what we expect theoretically. Okay, and from that the slope must be mg by b and the intercept must be minus mu mg by b. So we can linearize the equation for the purpose of plotting. Put this as y and put this as x and make the plot. All right, so for plotting the graph, we have calculated tan theta and Vt upon cos theta based on the table of the values that was given to us in the previous slide. So we calculated tan theta and Vt upon cos theta. So these are the values which we are supposed to plot on the graph, and then we'll be commenting on the value of b and mu. Okay, so we expect a straight line graph between Vt by cos theta versus tan theta, whose intercept will give us the value of mu mg by b and the slope will give us the value of mg by b. All right, so if you plot that tan theta versus Vt upon cos theta, you get this kind of graph based on the given values, and you now have to fit the best fitting line passing through all these points and if you make that fit, you get this is about 0.16. So slope is the slope comes out to 0.91 meter per second. All right, and this intercept will be about 0.16. That's looks like that. So slope and intercept, once you know, so slope is mg by b, you know the slope and you know the value of m and g, and you can just calculate the value of b. So that gives you b is equal to 0.21 Newton second per meter. Okay, so that's one part. And then intercept is 0.16, and intercept was supposed to be mu mg upon b. So from this you can, now you know the value of b, so you can calculate the value of mu using this equation. If you calculate the value of mu comes out to be 0.18. all right, so that completes the our question, the part C of the question, which was also the last part. And I hope you like this video, my solution, and you also felt motivated that yes, we just need to slog through the differential equation and do the maths correctly, and we'll finally arrive at the answer. So not all INPHO problems are difficult. This was a very easy ones. In fact, in INPHO 2019, about 4 out of 7 problems were rather easy. If you look at my solutions, you'll see that problem number 4 was very easy, and problem 5 was also very easy. 4, 5, 7 were easy, and there was a falling chain problem which was also fairly easy, not very difficult. So fairly easy questions were there, but just that you have to accurately do the maths of it. All right, so I hope you liked this video. So, and if you did like this video, please remember to subscribe to my channel and share this video as much as possible with students who are preparing for IIT JEE or Olympiads. And please do give it a thumbs up. Thanks a lot for watching the video, and that's all for this video, and see you in the next one.